All right, let's go ahead and get started. Thank you everyone for joining us today. This is such an exciting day. Today we're going to be virtually launching SizeUp FTL. So we're so excited to have all of you today. This business tool is definitely going to help not only business owners, but anybody in the community looking to start a business here in the city of Fort Lauderdale, as well as our neighboring municipalities here in the city. We're willing to work and help everybody with all of the resources that we can. And just a very small, brief introduction. We have here our City of Fort Lauderdale team. We have here our acting city manager, Susan Grant. We have here our public affairs division manager, Daphne Sainville. We also have here our management analyst, Ashley Dixon. We also have myself, which is Melissa Mata. Hello, everyone. I'm the senior management fellow. And with us, we have our special guest speakers, Anatolio Valde, the founder of SizeUp, and JR Charles. Before we open it up and before we transition to SizeUp, I would like to welcome you, Acting City Manager Susan Grant.
Hey everyone. Excited to be joining you today to hear about SizeUp FTL. I think this is going to be providing a great tool for our business community as well as our residents and visitors. So thank you for being here today, and special thanks to the public affairs team, Melissa, Ashley, Daphne, and crew, and look forward to, again, having this launched and going live. So enjoy the presentation, and I will be watching it along with you. Thank you, Melissa.
No, thank you, Susan. I truly appreciate you being here and being in support of this program. Uh, I would now like to transition to Daphne. Daphne, would you like to say a few words?
I wasn't expecting to, but sure. Thank you everybody for coming to our virtual launch of SizeUp. On behalf of the Public Affairs Division and Economic Development, looking forward to using this tool to benefit not only our residents, but entrepreneurs, our businesses, and investors that want to come to the city, invest in the city, and make this an even better place to live, work, and play.
Before we get started with the SizeUp FTL presentation, just a few context about the platform in itself. This is a no-cost, free for all residents to use. It is already available through the City of Fort Lauderdale website. You can find it under the Public Affairs Resources page. And I like for everybody to know that this tool is for business owners to get insight on market research and industry analysis, on competitive benchmarking, on customer analysis, on market research. This tool is just to transform you and help you in every single way and to help you guide you to have that successful business that you most and yes, that you deserve. Transition the spotlight to you, Anatolio.
Thank you so much, Melissa. I'm going to share first to provide a little bit of context to the conversation. Now, we know that we're in an era for all the small businesses that are on here. They're in this era in which small businesses are the economic drivers of the entire country's economy, and certainly in Fort Lauderdale. We also know that there's a boom occurring right now where so many new businesses are starting, and that there's incredible value in the local businesses and with dollars being spent locally. I want to show you some data for the area of Fort Lauderdale, and you can see this is looking at new businesses started, and you can see post-pandemic that there's just been an explosion of new businesses, and those businesses are a great opportunity for the local economy. However, there's some challenges because being good at work, so whether it's a new entrepreneur who is thinking about starting a new business and maybe they're terrific at what they do, it doesn't always mean that they're going to be good at the process of running a business. So how do we reduce this business failure rate? Well, we know, and you probably hear this rather terrible information, that half of all businesses fail within the first 5 years. But there are some businesses that fail just because they're bad businesses. But what a lot of the data shows is there's a natural death, but there's also the death that can be prevented. And this is what a lot of the research says from Entrepreneur Magazine and also Investopedia is that a lot of businesses fail because of a lack of preparation. Well, that's something that can be solved and helped, and the city of Fort Lauderdale is doing that. So as many of you all know, big businesses are at a big advantage when it comes to some very specific things. They have access to market research and analysts, and they can hire consultants. But for small and medium-sized businesses, this is very difficult. So there's a very uneven playing field. The city of Fort Lauderdale is helping to address this issue. And one of the ways that they're doing this is by providing data insights that you didn't have access to before. Because in today's information economy, the businesses that have access to information thrive, but those that don't are at a big disadvantage. And that comes to that issue of the big businesses versus small businesses. Another thing the city of Fort Lauderdale is doing is they're providing on-demand education and training, and it's accessible 24/7. So from the comfort of your own home or from your office or work, wherever you are, you can access this information when it's convenient for you. And they also have a strategy to help you with customer acquisition. And so with that, I'm actually going to, we can talk about this, but it's way better if we actually see it. So that's what I'm going to do now. Give me just a moment and I will share. Great. Making sure everybody can see my mouse move. Just wave your hand if that's working. Perfect. All right. So this is the city of Fort Lauderdale's website. You can, as Melissa mentioned, you can access the website directly from there. I'm going to walk you through this very briefly. Well, we'll get as deep as we possibly can. There are a number of tools. Let's start with the first one. This is about data insights so that you can learn things you might not even know about your own industry. And in fact, that's what we're finding is a lot of businesses want to know information, but they don't have access. So let's show you. Let's say that we're a coffee shop in Fort Lauderdale. What's some information that we would know off the top of our heads? Well, we probably know what our revenue is. So let's say we make $1.1 million. SizeUp Fort Lauderdale just super crunched millions of data points from the local to the national level to be able to compare your coffee shop or your prospective coffee shop to all the other coffee shops in the city, county, metro, state, and the nation. Now, I want to be specific. This data is industry specific and it's hyper local. This is not generic data. This is not food and beverage. It's specific to your industry, or in this case, for coffee shops. So we can see what the revenue is. We can also see on this heat map over here down at the hyperlocal level, the neighborhood level, we can see the areas in red where the revenue for coffee shops is the highest, yellow where it's lower. This is useful if you're thinking about opening up a new coffee shop, or perhaps you want to target a marketing campaign, or maybe you just want to visit the coffee shops in these areas of red to figure out what they're doing so well. Is it the way that they've organized the store? Are they upselling by selling ground coffee on the way out? This is just another way for you to get those insights. Or here, the year started. Let's say that we started in 2017. SizeUp just plotted the openings of every single coffee shop in the entire country. The line is moving up. That's good. It's showing that you have a growing and robust industry. If the line was moving down, you might want to make different decisions about the future of your business. If you're not interested in the US or even the Florida data, you can still see what's going on in the metro region, the county, or your city. Or salary. Let's say that we're paying our employees, I don't know, $25,000 a year. We see then that we're paying a little bit higher than is typical for businesses like ours. Although you can see salaries are a little bit higher in the metro area. Now that's showing you an average, but you can go in and you get additional information. So let's look at hourly wages by occupation, because in your coffee shop, you're going to have lots of different types of employees. So if your cafe, let's say you have waiters, and you probably might have a cook, let's say a short order cook, and you probably might need a manager for the business. You can see there's many different types of managers. In our case, we would probably need a food service manager. And so now we can see what is common for us. Now, unless you're a manufacturing business, the cost of your employees is likely going to be one of your biggest costs. So this is a way so you can see how you're comparing to other businesses and for your own budgets. Or number of employees. Let's say that we have 20 employees at our small business. I think we could all agree that is a small business, but it's not a small coffee shop. So the whole idea of what's big and small really gets turned on its head when you look at it through the lens of data. And this is information that you can use. Let's say you're going into your bank and you're trying to ask for a line of credit or a small business loan. Well, you can they may say, well, you're small, but you can say, well, but for coffee shops, I'm actually, by number of employees, in the 88th percentile. SizeUp then starts triangulating and providing you other insights. I'm not going to go through every single thing that's here, but I can show you a little bit. The data is, as I mentioned, hyper-local. This is down at the neighborhood level. But if you want to zoom out, now we're seeing all the counties in Florida. And now we can even see the states in the US. Now, this is probably not that relevant for a coffee shop, but if you're a business that does business outside of the city or the metro or the state, this can help you identify areas of potential customers. Or here, local retention. Let's say that you're frustrated or you're dealing with the fact that, oh, why is it that I have to replace 5% of my employees because they leave every year? And what's wrong? Is it that I'm not paying enough, or is it that there's something wrong with the management? Well, no, actually, you can see what is more typical is that 16% of all employees leave coffee shops. And so you're doing well. And this is part of the point of SizeUp Fort Lauderdale, is to make the invisible obvious for you. You may not have had access to this information. And so now you can focus on the things that really are challenges and identify where you're doing really well. As I mentioned, I'm not going to get into all of the different data that's in here, but I'll show you a few more things, such as open hours. So let's say that you are thinking about opening up a coffee shop. Well, you think, well, I work 40 hours a week now, I'll work 45 hours a week. Well, that's simply not enough. Right? The typical coffee shop in Fort Lauderdale is open almost twice as many hours. And we can even see what days coffee shops are open and the hours that they're open. And this is an interesting insight. Sometimes the data will surprise you with information. You can see in Fort Lauderdale that the typical coffee shop is open less hours than you would find in the county and metro. So this might be an opportunity for a coffee shop that's extending their hours to get that additional market. Or a website, let's say for a website, melissascafe.com. Now we know, if are we thinking, do we really need to have a website for a coffee shop? Well, the overwhelming majority of coffee shops in Fort Lauderdale have it. Let's say that we're not using Facebook. We can still see that a lot of coffee shops are using it. Same with Instagram, a bit less. Maybe not so much for LinkedIn, less. X or YouTube. I'm not going to plug in all of these, but within just a few minutes, I'm going to click on our summary view. We get this overall dashboard of our business's health. We know what it is that we're measuring. This is the number for our business. And you don't need to have an MBA or background in quantitative analytics to understand that green is more and red is less. This is designed for you. It's simple and easy to access. Another feature of SizeUp Fort Lauderdale is, well, look, you all want to find customers. So let's look at that and let's change the industry. Let's say that we are a beauty salon, right? So now we see where there's a bunch of beauty salons. I'm going to zoom out so you can see even more. So plenty of beauty salons in Fort Lauderdale. So we want customers, and maybe what we're going to target, and I'm just going to make some things up here. We want to target, let's see, modeling agencies. So they'll send their models to our beauty salon that will create incredible hairstyles for them, and that will help folks get more work. So now we can see who some of these other businesses are. In fact, we can even visit their social media or their website to learn more about them. So we can turn a cold call into a warm call. We'd also need to buy supplies, right? So what would we buy? We'd probably buy beauty supplies. Wholesale, perfect. And now we can see where our suppliers are. Now, if you are a business that is selling to other businesses, this is useful because, hey, Fort Lauderdale is showing the closest businesses first. You see all of these Fort Lauderdale businesses. We go back to customers, and not all businesses, of course, are business to business. Some of you sell directly to consumers. In this case, if you want to click on consumer spending, you can type in this case, let's say, well, we could put in anything. I'll just show you different examples of what's in here. Let's say that you were a women's apparel business, you can then look at how much is spent on women's coats and jackets. And you can even see it by neighborhood. And this is useful for you to target these opportunities because this is the disposable income that you want. Another thing is that you all know is that you need to do promotions. You need to market your business. Unfortunately, it's hard to target and find the ideal customers. Well, SizeUp Fort Lauderdale is going to help you do that even better. So what this is showing, and let's change the industry just so we can see other examples. So let's say we're a dentist. What we're now seeing is where dentists are making the most money in the region. And this is the list of those places. But maybe what we want is not where we don't want to target our customers or our potential customers in the areas where there's the most revenue, but what is the most underserved market? So relative to the businesses that are there should be more spending. And you see now it's changed a bit in terms of what these opportunities are. And of course, you can target customers outside of the city of Fort Lauderdale. I'm sure the city of Fort Lauderdale is happy to have more people coming in to spend money with Fort Lauderdale businesses. You can also customize this information. Every one of your businesses is a little bit different, right? I'm not going to go that far for my cup of coffee, but for the right dentist, I'm maybe willing to go a bit farther. I set it for 17 miles. You can also adjust to say, well, you know what I'm really interested in, I know my typical customer tends to be a higher income, or they have to have some level of household expenditures. Or let's say that I'm a pediatric dentist and what I really want is I want a younger clientele. I want young households, and so that's what I want to target. Well, you can adjust all of these types of information to find your ideal customer. I'll just show you a little bit more of that. So now I can, oops, I probably went too high in some of these. Now I've narrowed it down to 13 neighborhoods, and these are the ones I want to target. And you decide how you want to do the marketing. You can take this information onto, Google AdWords or Facebook, or maybe in your case, you want to put up a billboard or put it on a bench sign. So this is how you can optimize your advertising to find your ideal customer. The final feature of this tool is demographics, and you can put your business at the center of the world. All you have to do is, in this example, and there's many ways to do this, but here you can put in an address. So in this case, I'll just put 123 Northwest 7th Street. And you can change it to whatever distance you want. So let's say we want to look at it in number of minutes, and we want to look within, I don't know, 23 minutes. We want to get a demographic overview of the area. So you see, this is 23 minutes from your business. And if you're trying to target, let's say, young adults, well, what does this tell us? Young adults are mostly not located near the ocean side. Or maybe we're trying to target a different market. Maybe we're trying to focus around extremely wealthy households. Now we see where they are, and it varies depending on the area. Or maybe you're trying to target the Latino community. Now we can identify where in the area they are. And we have numbers for them. All of your businesses are different. Also, you may need to use this for your hiring. So let's change this to labor force. And just to show you a different type of analysis, within 15 miles of your business location, and you're trying to target, let's say that you're an architecture firm. So you want to target the architecture and engineering employees. Well, now you can see there's a really strong concentration of them in Fort Lauderdale. So you're going to be able to access this labor force. I'm not going to get too detailed, but the overall idea here is that with demographics, you can better understand your customers and also your employees. You can optimize your advertising by targeting the right locations and the right customer. You can find those customers, suppliers, and better understand your competitive landscape. And you can benchmark your business's performance. So with that, Melissa, should I pause for our next speaker, or should I jump into the next product?
Let's continue and jump into the next.
Perfect.
Thank you.
All right, so you've seen the first one. This provides you data insights, and I want to point out, if you went out to try and hire a consultant or try to gather this data, the information I just showed you right here, this would cost you thousands of dollars. The city of Fort Lauderdale is providing this to you at no cost. So this is a big advantage and a huge cost savings for you. I'll now show you the next program that is part of the SizeUp Fort Lauderdale suite, and this is called Small Business Advisor. Now, this is going to help you across the entire life cycle of your business. It helps you with planning, starting, managing, or growing. So wherever you're at in this process, there's great information for you. So let's say that I'm thinking about planning a business and I want to open an Italian restaurant. Can you tell it's starting to get toward lunchtime? That's what's on my mind. So Italian restaurant, get started. There are numerous topics related to planning your business. In this case, let's look at market research. So this is a curation of many different videos and content. In this case, this comes from PBS related to market research. In other areas, which I'll show, there's other types of videos. There's also text content to teach you about market feedback or industry research or location. Let's look at competitors. So this ties into the data insights. In this case, we can see where all of the other Italian restaurants are. This can help me as I'm planning to say, okay, where are the gaps? Are there gaps in the market? Are there areas where there's high concentrations of these businesses and I don't want to be near them? Or maybe I want to be in the area where everybody knows to go for Italian food. Let's go back. Let's say that I'm interested in managing my business. Right? There's many, many different topics related to that, or growing my business. So let's say that I'm interested in the issue of website traffic. Well, I can go in and I can learn, I can watch a video, I'm going to turn the sound off, but all of these videos tend to be really short. It's not going to take a lot of your time, and it'll explain the concept so that you have a better understanding of things that you want to think about. Or you can even put in information as we did before. So Mario's Italian.com. right? This is what's typical for Italian restaurants in the region. You can also, if you want, type in anything you're interested in. You may be interested in sales. So now I can learn about sales or the sales funnel or wholesaling or e-commerce, right? And then I can go directly to that topic and learn more. Or if you want to learn by subject, you just want to explore, you can click and you can learn about any of these many different subjects. So if you're trying to understand legal issues like business structure or licenses and permits or crisis preparation, all of these types of things you can access. And with that, I will pause, or I can talk still a little bit more about that, depending on if.
We do have Commissioner Ben Sorensen right here on the line, and I'm sure he is very excited to talk to our residents that are joining us live today. So, Commissioner Sorensen, take it away.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. Thanks. That was I loved hearing what you were sharing, Antonio. So thank you. That was phenomenal. I just wanted to say hi. Thank you for having me. Ben Sorensen. I'm one of the in the city of Fort Lauderdale. We have 4 city commissioners and a mayor. So the city commission districts are kind of geographic. So my district is kind of everything south of Broward Boulevard, more or less. So like Las Olas downtown, and then kind of going south out to the beach, and then out west to 441. So when I heard about SizeUp FTL, I was like, this is awesome, because I'm a small business owner. Aside from commission work, I've owned a small business for almost 20 years now. So I do like leadership training, executive coaching. So if I had this when I started, I'm sure I would be in even a better place and avoided a lot of the mistakes that I made. So I just love this as a resource and guide, and you all serving as kind of a cohort that can bounce ideas off each other. And I just wanted to, thank you for being part of this. Thank you, the city and public affairs and the whole team for making this possible. And also just wanted to contribute just myself as a resource. If there's anything I can do, so I want to give you all my cell phone number and email. And if there's anything I can do, whether it's sharing ideas, that things that have worked for me or not worked, or if you're interested in connecting with business leaders in our area or in our city doing different things because they're doing what you want to do and you'd like to learn from them, or they could be a client of yours, just let me know. Through my life as a city commissioner, I'm blessed to be able to meet a lot of people in the community. So happy to connect any dots. So just want to share that. I'll give you my info before I leave, but then also I'm happy to take any questions or whatever you all would like me to do.
I appreciate that, Commissioner Sorensen. Thank you so much for the kind words. And we do have a comment from Lydia. She is one. She says, it's amazing to hear the commissioner say that he has had his business for 20 years and that this would definitely have helped.
Absolutely. I mean, I would just, as you're going through like website market analysis and so forth, I've done so much of this just learning as I'm going and not doing it as strategically and thoughtful as I could have. So absolutely. I'm just looking at the chat. Could you share how you would use this tool for your leadership and coaching business? Yeah, I mean, so for me, I wasn't on the entire call. So I was just the last few minutes I was watching. So I probably missed, so I did miss everything you covered prior to a few more minutes. But so just, I mean, what I was looking at is just the analytics, the research would be really helpful. So for example, in my leadership training and coaching business, I work in different industries. Like I work for some construction companies, entertainment companies, financial service companies. And so as you were going through this, I was like, it would be really helpful if I looked at what are local entertainment businesses or local construction companies that maybe I haven't reached out to, because I could say, hey, I'm doing work in your industry right now and love to share that with you. I'm local, you're local. So that was one thought. And then also what I really value, and I just don't do this well, is like having a group of people like this that we're all small business owners where I can bounce ideas off of. So for example, some of the work that I have to do legally for like contracts with clients, you know, and when I run into issue, I'm sure many of you as small business owners could like, I could bounce some ideas and be like, what'd you do when this happened with a client, and get feedback. So yeah, I love that. You can work it to identify, yeah, folks to work with as well. Yeah. Oh, great. You're, Daphne's on here. Hey, Daphne. That's great. Yeah. Thanks for doing that. Thanks for presenting the conference in here. I'm going to put my name in the, what am I doing in the chat? Ben Sorensen. Here's my cell phone number. And then here's my, I'm going to put my city email, lauderdale.gov. So I'm putting my city email in there too, and reach out if you have like a business specific question, then I can go over to like my business email, but want to give that to you. And feel free to text me or call me if there's anything I can be doing to help.
Thank you, Commissioner. We truly appreciate it. And SizeUp, at the technical team, they also offer open house hours for any businesses and any entrepreneurs. And I'm more than sure that they would be mentioning this towards the end of the presentation, but just also for your at the residents under your district to know that there are open hours available for them, so that SizeUp can show them on the technical level on how to use SizeUp in many different ways. So you can also help us promote that and help them, let them know that there is that one-on-one mentoring available, or at least guidance from the SizeUp team.
I love it. No, thank you. And that's at one of my future, like I've agenda review meetings where we go over what the city commission is going to talk about. I'd love to maybe have SizeUp come on, whoever come on and just share a little bit about what you're doing to the neighbors, so more people can understand the good stuff that's cooking.
I'm sure that we can definitely make that happen.
Yeah, awesome. Well, will contact info be shared? I don't think I see it.
I am sharing it right now.
Oh yeah, thanks. That's Mike. I don't know if you were asking for my contact info, but it's in there now. So perfect. Well, great. Well, thank you. I don't want to take away from the more good work y'all are doing, so keep chugging. And I'm just going to hang just for a little bit longer in the background, just to kind of learn too. And if I can do anything, let me know.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yeah.
We
Thanks for
really
having
appreciate
me.
you having here.
Yeah.
Tolia, you are more than ready to continue.
So Commissioner Sorensen makes some really good points, right? The idea is about how the city is helping both the existing businesses in Fort Lauderdale and the aspiring entrepreneurs. Because the idea here is, how do you provide the information that's going to help all of them be more successful? For the aspiring entrepreneurs, so that you're in the right you have the right information to be successful, and for the existing businesses so that you can grow and be more profitable. And I also want to point out that this is not something that every business has. This is something that is unique, and that Fort Lauderdale has this, and this is something that is designed to help Fort Lauderdale businesses. And the commissioner also talked about something about the power of local, and that's the next thing that we're going to talk about. So on SizeUp Fort Lauderdale, there's also a Shop Local program. I'm going to click on Get Started so we can see what that looks like. So let's say that, actually, let's go back to that example I had before of coffee. We can put in any industry, and by the way, it doesn't all have to be retail or restaurants. It can be any type of business. It could be the local architect or engineer or anything. But I'm going to put in coffee shops. And what you see is this list of all of these Fort Lauderdale-based coffee shops. And one of the things that you'll notice about this is what is missing. I don't know if, well, it's not interactive that I can't talk to. I see that there's many businesses on this, but one of the things you'll notice that's not on here is Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts. And the idea here is that this is promoting the locally owned businesses in Fort Lauderdale. And the city is trying to drive new customers in the form of existing like residents or visitors into your business. So this is the way that they are trying to truly deliver money right into your pocketbook. So these are three of the key features. There's another program called Pulse. It's very similar to the first one I showed you. And if you just want to gather some information, you can type in any industry you want. Let's say that you are an accountant. Right? You can get information about your industry. It's similar to what I showed before, so I'm not going to go over it. I'd rather have time for question and answers. But all of these programs are available to you online 24/7, and you can access them all directly through the City of Fort Lauderdale's website. And this is designed, again, to make you more successful, give you the information you need, give you powerful, expensive data at no cost to you, so you can make data-driven decisions just like the big companies do. And with that, I'll pass it over to you, Melissa. Or I'm sorry, JR, is there anything else that you that we should cover? Maybe you could talk a little bit about the time that we provide training, as Melissa mentioned.
Absolutely. Yes. So JR Charles, Customer Success Manager here at SizeUp, and we do offer two ways that you can get involved. First, and primarily for our business community, is that we have office hours, or open house, excuse me, and they can register for that. There's a link in the platform for Get Support, and then I'm sure Melissa will send it out through the contact list, but it is SizeUp.info/ there you go, live training. There you go. SizeUp.info/open house is the way that you can register for that. And that's where our businesses can come in and ask questions, get a demo on the tool, and we'll teach them live over Zoom. And then for our clients and our partners who are strategic with the city, we have another one called Office Hours, and that's SizeUp.info/office hours.
That was perfect, Anatolia and JR. Thank you so much for taking the time and explaining this wonderful resource tool. Now I'm opening it out to the public. Are there any questions that you would like to ask the SizeUp technical team? This is your chance to even speak up regarding your own business, any situations or any conflicts that you may be going through in real time that you would like to have an answer to see how SizeUp can help. Chanel asked if we can have the first website address. Of course. Let me put it on the chat.
That's right. This is available to you right now. Everybody in Fort Lauderdale can now access this.
And I also provided a short link of the SizeUp Fort Lauderdale, and JR shared the SizeUp open house as well.
Yeah, so if you have questions that come up, or you want additional training, or want to even walk through some of the use cases for your business, we're available each week. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them into the chat. Okay, so there's a question that's coming in. I'm not going to give away the names or of the business in particular, but it's discussing a preschool and they're trying to find their target audience. Well, you can use the tool a number of different ways. So I would say, first, you could go in and actually let me see if I can jump over into some of the analysis. Give me just a second to okay. I'm going to actually share and we can play. We can't do this for every business, but or at least not at this launch. But just to give you an idea, so I put in child daycare services. There's a number of different ways where you can do that analysis, right? So one thing is and let's plug in. By the way, know absolutely nothing about this industry, but we have a lot of great data. So let's say we're making $700,000 a year. I don't know if that's a lot or a little. I guess it's pretty consistent. So if you're trying to do research and understand the market, you can actually start to see where daycare facilities are doing better or worse from a revenue perspective. And you can also see, if you go down to this issue of employees, I don't know what, I'm going to try 6. I don't know if 6 is a lot or a little. Okay, so you can see a lot of daycare businesses tend to be in the 10 or 11 range. But I want to point you to something else, which is if you're trying to find your ideal target, well, you could go in here and you could say, okay, well, where are childcare services really underserved? And I should probably be asking you questions. And this is the kind of thing I imagine that the commissioner would do with his clients. You'd ask them questions, and then you could manipulate this information to get the information you need. I don't know what is a typical distance people are willing to drive for childcare, but you can adjust it for whatever works for your type of business. Maybe it's shorter. I don't know. But probably like the pediatric dental office, you probably want a younger area or a younger population. If yours is private and it's pre-school age, you may be looking for people who have higher incomes, and you can adjust. Oh, look, oh, you're giving me information. This is fun. It's all happening live. So you can also use your tool. It's saying, typical, well, I guess this is obvious, ages for mothers in the, I guess this would tend to be in the 20s to 50s. So you can see here by household where is the highest concentrations. And you can see for younger people in their 20s, let's look at 30s, you can see it tends to be a little bit more inland. So these are the types of analysis that you can do. I see a number of them are coming in with lots of different examples of other industries and the types of help that you need. And that's what our Wednesdays are. JR, correct me if I'm wrong. We have training each Wednesday for this type of analysis. The point here is you can put this analysis, right? So I don't know what I don't know the address of your business, but you can put it in and you can select that, and then you can do all of the analysis around your business to better understand both your potential employees and customers. So feel free to do that. We encourage you to do that. These types of reports would cost you hundreds or thousands of dollars, and you can access all of this information directly from the City of Fort Lauderdale's website. And if you're trying to target those households in the 30s, now you know where you can find them. I will stop with that because this is more of what we do during our trainings. But if there's other questions you have about the program, I'm happy to answer them. Oh, and you're very welcome. Not everybody can see the chat, just those of us who are the panelists can see it, but you're very welcome. If there are other questions, please feel free to put it right into the Q&A.
And I'll repeat for the chat here that the link for businesses to get the training specifically is SizeUp.info/open house. That is the one you want to use to register for the training.
So there are two separate links. You have the one that guides you directly to the SizeUp FTL platform, which you can also find under the Public Affairs Division under Resources. And you also have the SizeUp Open House hours, which is the link that JR just mentioned, which is SizeUp.info/open house. Natalia, JR, or including Daphne, are there any advice that you would like to give to our business owners starting and those already in the business journey on how SizeUp can help, on how they can just use it to get their way around the city, mainly on market research, on local competitors, on looking for customers? Any last advice?
One of the things I would suggest, because I'm sure that there are people who are on this webinar that are thinking about opening up a business. And one thing that you find, especially with aspiring entrepreneurs, is an incredible level of optimism. You need that to be a business because there's always challenges. But take your optimism and balance it with the data-driven decisions that you need to make. You may think that you're going to make $5 million a year with your burger restaurant. But that may just be your hopes and dreams, not the reality of what is typical for a burger place. So type in burger restaurant so that you can get that information to see what is more common. Because you can get carried away thinking that everything's going to be perfect, which tells you, oh, I can pay really high amounts for salaries, and I can get the absolute A+ location in the best street, and you can afford that rent. But you've got to really do your homework, and that's the idea. The city of Fort Lauderdale does not want anybody to fail in their city. They're providing you Fort Lauderdale is providing you the data that you need so that you can make smarter decisions to, one, decrease your risk of failure, but two, really help you grow. These are insights not all businesses have access to by far. In fact, this is data that you might not even know about your own business or your own industry. So I think that's important for the aspiring entrepreneurs. For the existing businesses that are already in Fort Lauderdale, wow, you can really figure out how you're performing. You might know that you improved by 10% over last year, but do you know how well you're doing relative to your industry? Because perhaps you're underperforming and there's an opportunity for you to move up by better understanding what's possible.
Thank you, Natalia, for that. We do have a question from one of the audience members. She says, is SizeUp a training, not hand-holding? It does look easy, but I have struggled in the past reading Facebook and Google Analytics.
So SizeUp is not a training. SizeUp is designed for you to use it yourself. It's do-it-yourself market research and analysis, and it's custom to all of your industries. So you can put in whatever your industry is. There is once a week, there is training that you can get, but SizeUp was designed to be incredibly user-friendly. What you do need to know is you need to know what industry you're in, and you need to know that you're in Fort Lauderdale. This won't work for you if you're a business outside of Fort Lauderdale. It's designed for Fort Lauderdale. But if you know those two things, this is designed to be very simple. You enter information you know about your business. You know how many employees you have. You know what your revenue is. So you just enter that information in. If you need help, though, there is help each week. But it's not designed for us to hold your hand through the program. It's designed to empower you to get all of this information and do the analysis yourself through an easy-to-use program that's available on the City of Fort Lauderdale's website.
And just adding to your response, Anatolio, the city is also here to help with additional resources. We do have partner organizations such as the Small Business Development Center, SCORE, at the SBA. We do have a lot of contacts that do offer that one-on-one mentoring and one-on-one counseling on business development. So if you do have or would like to get in contact with these partner organizations, let us know. Send us an email at economicdevelopment@fortlauderdale.gov, or you can give us a call to our main office line, which is 954-828-6350. You can let us know what it is that you're looking for and how we can help you. Maybe all you need is also a little one-on-one with the development services staff that they are really great at explaining the business tax application. So anything that you need, the city is here to help you with all of those questions.
There's a question that came in that I saw was answered through chat, but it's probably a question a lot of the businesses also want to know. Do you want to answer that one live? It asks about the reason.
The question, let me go back. What was the reason for starting this program? That question?
Yes.
A member from the public asked, what was the reason for starting this program? The reason for starting this platform and to providing this platform to the city of Fort Lauderdale residents and those in our neighboring uh, municipalities is for you to have all this data available for you so that you can then go based off your business industry, based off your own business journey, and receive this as a guidance for you to have more strategic decisions and that you can go and implement them back into your business. All of this data and all of these resources are for you and your business. You can find customers, collaborators. You can even find your local competition. There are a lot of businesses, local businesses out here in all the different districts of the city of Fort Lauderdale. And having all of this data can help you narrow down and see where your local audience is. You can see where your local competitors are. You can even see where are those businesses and where they are not, and maybe you can go towards those target areas. So this platform is here to help you in every single way. And the small business advisor tool that Anatolia explained, that one provides that guidance on all of the business journey stages, the ones that are planning, the ones that are already managing, and the ones that are looking for that little boost. Because not everybody knows everything about a business. There are a lot of things that come your way, and this business tool is here to help you answer all of those questions. Anything you would like to add regarding
No,
land?
I think it was perfect. I can see we have a highly technical question that came in. It asks, are the categories, meaning the industry categories, by NAICS codes? So if I talk about this, the rest of the attendees are going to fall asleep. So let me just say, the industries cover NAICS, SIC, a number of different industry categorizations. Most businesses don't know what these are, and that's why we don't list them, because it just wouldn't make sense. We also use semantic search. So just use natural language to type in whatever industry you're in, and we'll get you to the right industry.
There is one question from one of our audience members that says, does SizeUp offer an accelerator program for business owners? If yes, how does one take part? Well, the city of Fort Lauderdale does offer a business program called SizeUp FTL, which is a 12-week program facilitated by the Public Affairs Division, where we invite special guests that are business industry experts to teach on different business tools. During one of those weeks, when we do market research, we actually implemented on having the participants use SizeUp for their local competition and for their market research. We make sure that our participants learn how to use this platform so that they can then use it throughout their whole business journey. If you do want to learn more about Startup FTL, you're more than welcome to go over through our website. If you can find it under the Public Affairs Division. There is currently a cohort happening. We are on week 8 out of the 12 weeks. There's going to be another cohort coming up on during the summer session. So make sure that you stay tuned for those. Applications may be opening soon. We do not have any additional questions, but just closing it up. Oh, wow, we have 2 more. One more. What is the best way to stay up to date? Is there a newsletter? There is a newsletter. You can go to the Public Affairs City website where you are more than welcome to sign up for the Startup FTL newsletter. At the City of Fort Lauderdale, strategic communications are also very good at helping us promote this type of resources and programs. You can also follow us through our social media pages in the city commission meetings, the commissioners, as well as the city managers. They do announce all of these resources that they are available to our residents. Well, thank you everyone for coming in. We will be getting the event up to a close. Tolio and JR, thank you so much for your time in explaining all of these wonderful resources and this full platform to our residents and our visiting neighbors. I truly appreciate your time, and hopefully you received some good questions from our community.
And thank you to everybody who attended and all of the very kind comments. Just because you're on the webinar, you aren't able to see all the nice things that have been said. But the whole idea is that the city's here to help you. And with information that you didn't have access to before today, this is for you. The goal is for you to succeed as a small business owner.
JR, any final words before we conclude?
No, I want to thank you and thank the city for investing in this product. And I'd like to just reiterate that if small businesses want to reach out for help, again, SizeUp.info/open house every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. We'll be happy to walk you through the product and give you better insight into it.
Thank you so much. And on behalf of our acting city manager, Susan Grant, and on behalf of Commissioner Sorensen, which I believe he is still on the line through the attendee side, we want to thank both of you for your time.
Thank you, everyone.
Well, everyone, I hope you all have a good rest of your day.